Now let's talk about the magic line. It's essential to take into account the magic line associated with the damper lever. That's the blue line on this drawing. First of all, let's see what a magic line is. This explanation applies to the various magic lines found in piano action, pedal levers and so on. A magic line exists whenever two parts are involved in a rotational movement and have a point of contact with each other. We can also consider a magic line when one part rotates and the other moves in translation, but this goes beyond the scope of this chapter. The purpose of a magic line is to reduce the relative movement between two parts at their point of contact. There is a magic line whenever two parts are rotating and they have a contact point. It always passes through the two rotational points and the contact point between these two parts. The magic line should only be considered for the movement where the two parts are in contact. If one of the two parts starts before the other, that part of the movement is not considered. Ideally, it should be straight halfway of the movement. It helps reduce the movement between the two parts at the point of contact. There is nothing to do with the part's horizontality or verticality. There are several magic lines in the oval piano action and keyboard, and at least one related to the dampers. This is the one we will focus on today. For more information about the magic lines in the Action Stack keyboard, you can refer to the course Piano Action Design Basics, which is also available as a podcast. As shown in this drawing, two parts are moving in rotation with a point of contact, the key and the damper lever. These parts are not in contact throughout the entire motion, but only from the moment the key begins to lift the damper. It's only this portion of the motion that we will analyze in terms of magic line. This line must be perfectly straight at the midpoint of the damper's spoon movement, which does not necessarily correspond to the midpoint of the hammer or key stroke. The movement begins when the key first makes contact with the damper lever, the blue line, and continue until the key is fully depressed, passing through the straight line, the green, halfway. On Steinway piano, as well as many other instruments, this line is not often respected. It only becomes straight at the very end of the motion or never. This leads to significant wear on the keys and felt. If you simply replace the felt without reducing this excessive sliding movement, your intervention will be nearly useless and you will need to replace it again within a few months. To better understand this phenomenon, I've created several videos. What you need to focus on is the sliding movement of the lever against the key and felt, right there. You don't even need a tool or a string. With a bit of experience, you will quickly be able to tell whether the magic line becomes straight, halfway, at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the motion, just by seeing if this sliding motion is very limited or excessive, like on this first video. In this first video, you'll see that the magic line appears at the very end of the stroke, as is often the case with the traditional Steinway back action. Note that for practical reasons, the demonstration was filmed outside the piano, of course, though under conditions that closely replicate the real setup. Once the damper is installed and regulated, there is a small gap between the lever and the red felt, which is not shown in this video, but this does not affect the understanding of the phenomenon. Both videos were made under the same condition with only one variable changed: the height of the back action axis lower on the second video. As you can see, the sliding movement between the two parties is quite significant in this first video. Whereas it's much more limited in the second video. For clarity, I also created a third video using a CAD drawing in which the magic line is perfectly straight. In this case, there is virtually no sliding movement between the two parts. However, it's important to note that with these damper levers without spoon, when the magic line is straight at half stroke, there is a risk that the contact point may shift at the very end of the motion from there to there. At that stage, the tip of the felt piece may become a new contact point much closer to the rotation axis. In the next chapter, we will explore how Bechstein addressed this issue by redesigning its levers in 2024. I'm referring to the gap you see here, right at the beginning, but not at the end. While it's not a problem with this setup, it can cause issues in other situations. That's why we will show you the solution Bechstein developed to eliminate this risk.